Another manic Monday, a lot of news happening, and we will cover it all for you. But as we do every Monday, we start with the coach. Let's head down to Baton Rouge and talk about an epic game coming up. They're all big, but as you head toward the end of September, Coach Brian Kelly getting his team ready for Ole Miss after another successful weekend. Coach, good afternoon, and afraid to ask how you are. It's a busy time.
This is the great part of college football, right? You're right in the middle of it now. I think for the next 6 weeks, it's SEC opponents week after week. And that's the great part about being in this business. You get big games every week against great opponents, and it'll be another great one this weekend.
Coach, I know going back to Saturday, there was concern about Garrett and his health. He didn't look like he was having any problems from here. How is he doing?
He's doing really well. I mean, and that was kind of, Paul, the questions were like, why would you play him? Well, he's finally healthy. He needs to have some success as well. And he was able to do the things that he hadn't been able to do the first few weeks. And that is, really be aggressive, throwing the football down the field. You can see he's moving well, coming out of the pocket, throwing on the run. Those are the things that have made Garrett Nussmeier the player he is. And we wanted to be able to use this opportunity for him to get into a nice flow.
Yeah, and I know that was a debate. Some of the experts I sit with every Saturday morning said he shouldn't play. And he, in terms of, injuries, pain, there's all kinds of things that coaches and sports medicine people have to deal with. But was there ever serious thought to letting him rest, or was that going to always come later when the bye week shows up?
We have a lot of respect for our opponents, and I don't mean this in any disrespect, but this was a rehab start for him. He needed to get out there and play and have the kind of opportunities that he didn't have the first few weeks, quite frankly, because we mentioned at the outset of the show, we go into 6 consecutive SEC games, and Garrett needed to have that success and go out and have a good start like this to get him ready for the rest of the year.
I know you hope to have everyone healthy this weekend, but Durham is banged up as well. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, he had an ankle. You never really know, right, Paul, until you get an opportunity to do the MRI and then how they feel after. And quite frankly, we're very encouraged. He felt really good today. We moved him around, and it didn't have all of the components of a high ankle sprain, so we were going to be hopeful, but you never know. It's a running back position. You can't be 50, 60, 70%. You could at the offensive line put a big brace on it, but he's a running back, and we're much more confident that he's going to be able to answer the bell on Saturday.
Coach, I know you've already had several very, very big games. You would argue they're all very important, but it's hard to convince down in Louisiana about anything other than the significance of this weekend at Ole Miss. It's always just such a spectacular game. There have been massive shootouts, including the last time down there. Last year, you were able to get the overtime win. It was one of the most important wins of the year. Describe going in to Oxford to an opponent that is very familiar with your program.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Both teams know each other. This is our 4th year playing against each other. Same coaches, very similar in terms of, what we're doing offensively. Defensively, a little bit of difference, with Blake, but he was at Missouri. So, both programs know each other. I mean, there's not going to be any tricks. This is about the team that executes better and more consistently for 4 quarters. And that's really what it comes down to. And in a great atmosphere, you're on the road. You've got to be able to handle the distractions. I thought our group did a great job on the road against Clemson, and we'll be able to use that experience going into what will be a very hostile environment.
Your defense has been spectacular. That's an understatement. They're an up-tempo team. They have 2 quarterbacks now very capable. I'm not asking for the game plan, but I am asking just for the overall philosophy.
Very similar. I think last year we struggled a little bit when we went from a traditional pocket passer at Texas A&M to Reed, who was a dual threat. Both of these guys are dual threats. They're both outstanding quarterbacks. They're both very effective at what they do and how they do it, and they're going to run the system that Lane has put in, and they do it quite well, both of them. So it makes it easier for them to prepare because they don't have to change the offense very much. Both of these guys can go in and run it, and we've got to be prepared that both of them will play.
Coach, I realize you don't go backwards, and your goal is to move forward. But you spent so much time getting ready for Clemson, and it was such an epic game. And I know you're probably not focused on them anymore. But do you have any? I'm just curious. We all thought that was a battle of top 5, top 10 teams, and they have really struggled since losing to you.
Yeah, every game is a one-game experience, right? At the time, they certainly would be considered a top 5 team, and were seen by many. And games change. change, right? I mean, week to week, you lose momentum, you lose confidence. All those things happen. It doesn't diminish what we did on the road. We don't really look at it any other way, but it was a 1-0 experience for us, and we had to go in there and take care of business. So we've moved on from that. We're a better football team today than we were when we played Clemson. And maybe they're not quite as good as they thought they were, but circumstances are such. You take it as 1 week at a time, and that's why we're focused, solely on the experiences that we've had, the growth that we need, and then take that on the road against a really good.
Coach, finally, more on a lighter note, everybody likes to talk about Lane Kiffin. What kind of relationship do you have with him, who the media seems to love for whatever reason, and I don't mean that demeaning, but he's just a fun guy for quotes, but you know him better than we do.
He is, and I think what I really respect about Lane is that he's consistent when it comes to football. I mean, he's done a really. I went against him when he was at USC. We've gone against each other for a long time, and you get the same guy in terms of his preparation offensively. They're always going to have a football team that is competing at the highest level. And I respect that about and be yourself. And he's not afraid to be himself. I think that's great. And so I enjoy our time together and our relationship. We're both competitors, but we also know when it's time that you can lower that guard and have a little fun too.
Great to hear. Coach, thanks for always dropping by on these Mondays. Best wishes.
My pleasure. Thanks, Paul.